Hello, this is Pre-Archie. Before we start the podcast, I'm very excited to announce that Rebound is looking to hire an EP for our Brookvale clinic. So if you're interested in applying, you'd like to have a chat, please reach out to me. We have an ad up on LinkedIn and Seek, but you can just email your cover letter and resume to me at archie@reboundhealth.com.au. All right, to the podcast. Welcome to the Honest CV podcast. We're a podcast for health professionals and the wider community. We're going to explore diversities in health, ask some hard questions, and have some honest conversations. My name is Archie. I'm an EP based in Sydney, Southern Beaches, and joining me as always, our health business Andrew. Andrew, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Great.
This Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, and it is definitely not 2 weeks after the last time we recorded.
There's been some breakity breaks.
There have been some breakity breaks. One of the breaks that happened was we went to some conferences, which were great, and they are what we're going to talk about today. But then some other breaks happened, which you could tell me a little bit about after we open this beer, which is from where?
This, I was running a bit late today, so I ran into the servo on the way. The bottle on the way. And I hadn't bought beer from there before. And so I walked in and I had 30 seconds and I was like, oh, that looks like an interesting can. So I will get that one. So it is the Algorithm Brewing. Apparently they're from the Northern Beaches, but I may have made that up.
I've never heard of them before.
Oh no, it looks
Freshly
like they're
formulated in New South Wales.
New South Wales. There we go. I was too specific.
That's close enough.
New South Wales. It's a nice can. I like the imagery.
Wait till you try it. It's actually a very enjoyable beer for me.
For a 5% pale ale,
Yeah.
that is quite easy to drink.
Very drinkable.
Not very hoppy,
No,
not overpowering.
there's no big aftertaste. It just tastes good.
It just tastes good.
How good's that?
Oh, look at that. Complexity made simple.
Yeah.
That's their tagline.
Well done, Algorithm Brewing.
Well done.
You did it. You made it simple and it tastes good.
That is a nice beer.
Good job.
It's almost fresh. Like it's
very fresh. I wouldn't have thought that would be a pale ale. I would have thought that would be some kind of XPA or Pacific Ale or lighty, drinky kind of thing.
No, that is a good beer.
It's a good beer.
I will buy that again.
Yeah.
Well
So from your point of view, why
were pointing the finger at
why
me
were
here?
you? No, because I was also unavailable. But why were you unavailable? More so because I'm jealous and I want everyone to know why I'm jealous.
I was watching and playing some golf for a few weeks.
That's understating it a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
What country were you doing that in?
I was in the States. I was very spoiled. It was my 40th birthday last year. And my mum and dad and my wife got me a kind of a once-in-a-lifetime trip to go and play golf for a few weeks in the US and then go watch the Masters, which for the non-golf nerds is it's like a pilgrimage for a golfer to...
Yeah. It's like walking the Camino or going to Mecca.
It's right up there.
It's that equivalent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was... So unfortunately podcasting took a back seat to
playing
golf.
Watching Rory complete the Grand Slam.
Correct.
The career slam.
Yeah. Oh, it was very emotional. Very emotional.
Any
there
tears?
are emotions. To be honest, I think my old man shed a tear.
Wow.
I think he's a very devout Rory.
Wow.
supporter.
Oh, okay.
And
well, that's a big moment for him. It's been a bit of a dry spell.
Yeah. Yes.
He's been along for a ride.
He's been AWOL for a while, but he got it.
Well
done to Rory.
Well done to Rory if you're listening, mate.
I'm sure he listens.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Everyone listens, don't they? Oh dear.
Yeah.
That's great. And did you play golf at any Any highlight courses from the US?
We did. You might know a couple of the names. So we went to Pebble Beach.
I think people would have heard of Pebble Beach.
We played there. There's a few courses around there that we played, and then we had to fly from San Francisco over to Atlanta in South Carolina, which is where they host the Masters. Georgia. Yes, we flew into Atlanta and then took a bus to Georgia. To
Augusta.
Augusta.
I got you. Don't worry.
Thanks.
I've got your itinerary.
Thank you. And so we played 4 golf courses around there.
Cool.
So very, it's kind of a bit, I suppose it's a bit similar to Australia where they're very members only. So they don't open them to the public except in Masters Week. You're able to get in. And so there's some
just golf everywhere.
very, 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 very good and very old courses.
Wow.
So,
very nice.
very cool. Yeah.
How did you go on the par 3 7th? Is it the 7th at Pebble Beach?
It is.
Down onto the water?
Have you been talking to my wife about this?
No. Oh, no. This is actually off the cuff. I just know I just want to know how you went on that hole.
I birdied it.
Come on. That's awesome.
I birdied it, which was fantastic. The hole before that is a beautiful, beautiful par 5.
Yeah.
Where you kind of hit, it's almost as picturesque as that one, where you hit down a hill and then up across the water onto the thing.
Is that the one Tiger hit those 7-irons?
Yeah. I shanked it straight off the tee into the water and then tried to hit it back and pulled it across into the bunker on that side. And then I tried to go for the green and then I hit it back into the water.
Oh.
So that was like an 8 on a par 5 and then
a 2.
And then hit a 2.
Oh.
So it was gloriously bad and then gloriously okay.
That's all you need from golf though, right? Just one good moment.
That is all that matters.
It's one good moment.
Yep. So, yes. Once in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime. And, the podcast can wait a month,
Well, I was thinking about the podcast.
Were you?
No, I wasn't, to be fair. But I'm glad we're back now.
I'm glad we're back as well. The last content of any sort that came out from us was on our Instagram, actually. And it was while we were both down in Melbourne at a conference, the Clinic Mastery Summit. Clinic Mastery is I'm going to have a go at explaining, and you can tell me how I did out of 10, knowing that you know more about this than I do. Clinic Mastery is a allied health business coaching and mentoring company. So they are business owners and teams who are in the allied health sector can engage these guys to get one-on-one and group coaching and mentoring on how to grow, run their clinic well, and do good stuff.
That was a very good summary of what
much.
Clinic Mastery does.
Thank you very much. There you go. So,
lovely.
If you guys want to hire me to do your marketing for you, happy to make some Instagram reels. I can use that exact language for you
there
if
you
you'd
go.
like. So we're both down there because you are not only... Well, why don't you tell us about your relationship with them from the start to now?
Sure. So I joined Clinic Mastery as a member. Before the COVID times, where we were a small team at the time. I was looking for help. I was actually specifically looking for help around how to do digital advertising, like how to do Google Ads primarily, and a little bit of Facebook ads. And so I sought them out for that specific guidance, and ended up with an amazing mentor who I worked with for probably 5 years, I think. I worked with Pete, who helped me personally and then helped our business grow quite significantly over that time. And then about 18 months ago, I sort of moved to a different coach because we were sort of in need of a different set of skills to help us, like more from an organizational perspective, as we'd grown from a team of like 5 to a team of close to 35 now. Just like understand how the organization needs to structure itself. How do we create the right roles and the right sort of systems to help those roles succeed? And so for the last 18 months, we've been working with, I say we, because Lauren and I have been working together with Shane Bennett, who is an amazing mentor, runs a clinic called Beyond down in Melbourne with, I don't even know, like 80 or 90 people in their team. An amazing, amazing company. And someone that I very much look up to from both a business ownership, leadership, mentality perspective. So, so I've been a member and I continue to be a member. The thing that I like the most about Clinic Master is the fact that all of the coaches have their own businesses. They've all got a background in allied health and they all run allied health businesses. Just out the back end of COVID, I got invited, so this is the second half of my answer to your question, I was invited to become a coach or become a business consultant, as we're called now, which means that I get to help other business owners help to grow their clinics, grow their teams, and sort of, get what they want from their business. So my week now is I do Rebound 3 days a week and I do coaching for Clinic Mastery 2 days a week.
Awesome.
Which is fun.
Very cool. Very cool how what started as you just engaging a company trying to get some advice and some help around marketing, digital marketing, turned into 2/3 of your week. Oh, no, 1/3 of your week.
I love it.
40% of your week.
I love it.
That's very cool.
Math doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not mathematicians. Yeah, I love it. I think it's a great company. They do great things. And I know I'm biased, but fuck it, who cares? I think they do good things.
They do good, yeah.
So we went down to the summit. Once a year, they hold it's not open to the public. So it's not something, if you're not a member, you can't get access to it. You have to be a member to get access to it. And it's 2 days of summiting, of presentations and workshops and cocktails and schmoozing. But schmoozing.
I hate that word.
Best word.
Ugh.
And this was the first time that we brought the team down.
Very lucky that you brought myself and our head of physio and head of OT, as well as Lauren, head of team development, down with you. And so we got to be there and learn from all these presentations and coaching sessions and bring some stuff back to the team and how to do good stuff, which was really, really helpful and really interesting because it was nice. And I think this is just a reflection of good quality conferences or summits in general. And maybe you don't get this at shit summits and shit conferences, but because I did 2 conferences back to back. I'll talk about the other one later. But what you find is it's really, really good feeling like you're the dumbest person in the room and going, there's just like no bad people to talk to in here. So anytime that there's a break or it's coffee or it's drinks in the afternoon, you can just start a conversation with anyone and learn cool shit because everyone there is part of an allied health business in maybe they're an OT, maybe they're a speech, they're a psych, they're an EP, they're a physio, whatever, they're an osteo, there's a chiro. Their business is in a different place to where you are. They have a different amount of team. Their role within that business is different, whether they're a practitioner, they're a senior practitioner, they're a manager or an owner. And everyone has different things that they're really good at, and everyone has different things that they're struggling with. And I think that was maybe one of the biggest takeaways for me just from talking to people is that everyone's problems in allied health are so diverse. And it's weird to like come out of our own or come out of my own little bubble where it's like, well, these are the sticking points and these are the constraints that we have as our EP team at Rebound that I'm worried about. And then you talk to an OT owner in Toowoomba and she's like, I have a waiting list of 300 people and I can't hire someone. And so there are people on our waiting list that we will never get to see. And that just blew my mind that their problem had nothing to do with seeing more clients or like attracting more business or marketing or networking or
management plans.
Anything around client experience, because they're fine. It's like they're absolutely fine when it comes to coming to work and having enough people to see, and then doing a good job with those people. That they're just not interested. They're not interested in attracting more clients at all. They actually don't want any more clients. They just can't hire a fucking OT.
Yeah.
I was like, what? What do you mean? It's like, what a crazy world to be in, where, none of the things that they're working on are the same as us. And maybe that's because it made me reflect on like, okay, so what are some things that we've done over the last, I can only talk about over the last kind of 6.5 years that have led to us not having that problem. Even though, like, obviously OT and EP, there's different demand and there's different needs and wants from the staff and then the employers. But are we doing different stuff that mean that we don't actually, we never struggle to hire an EP, that they're doing? And then I can actually reflect and go, oh, okay, there are some things that we do really well so that we recruit really well. And then are there things that they do to have a huge waiting list of clients that we don't do? It's like, well, I don't know how transferable some of those problems are from a NDIS OT to a private EP business. I feel like it's a very different landscape out there in terms of demand.
Like you said, it's challenging because they know that is a reality, that oftentimes, they'll close their books. They won't actually accept people onto their wait lists anymore because they know that they will never get to them. And so then it's like, well, how can you look? And this is a genuine concern of a lot of these business owners. It's, if I know that somebody's going to be sitting on my wait list for 2 years, how can I help them? Even if they can't get in to see me in person, how can we help the parents of that child or this person get whatever they need, so that they're not just like spinning their wheels for 2 years? And so owners are it looks like they're diversifying, but they're just trying to create more opportunities for people to get non-face-to-face therapy or non-face-to-face guidance on how to work with a child or something like that. Knowing that, a lot can happen for a child in 2 years' time.
Oh, it's huge.
And so, like, what are there trainings that we can do? Are there videos that we can create? Are there resources that we can send out so that people can get access to therapy?
One of the businesses that I thought was really smart is they had like an entire landing page on their website that was all of their online webinars and resources that you could buy, and books. They made like ebooks and stuff that you could buy and were kind of educational and practical things that you could do in Peds OT. I was like, what a great idea.
Yeah.
And then that was something that like team members, when things were sold, were rewarded for their resource being sold. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, amazing.
Didn't even think about that as a potential source of income as an allied health business, selling, online resources. I was like, what a great idea.
Yeah.
Very cool.
To your question, how applicable is that to a mostly?
Well, that's more applicable.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah,
that's so much more applicable.
Yeah.
The amount of times that, and this is as an EP, but you can probably project this to being any health profession, when someone comes in and you go, who the fuck told you that shit information? What health professional or doctor or friend or person at the gym told you that shit? And now you've come in and I've got to like untangle all these fucked up beliefs that you have about your body and your injury or your disability or your medical condition that are really going to put a handbrake on us helping you get better. That I have to start by doing that before we can even do the things that are going to help, even though that is a big part of doing things that help because it's, behavior change and, changing beliefs is very, very important. But if we had resources that are out there and are known and come up when people search for this information, whether that be on social media or on Google.
Imagine
That's
that.
awesome.
Imagine that. Imagine a GP in your local area sending a video that you created to a client deconstructing their beliefs about chronic pain. Like, think about how impactful that would be, not only for yourself, but the GP and for the client or the community. Like, that is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Right? And they're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, they are doing it. A GP is doing that for those clients, for those businesses.
Well, you think about the a lot of these businesses in rural and remote locations, so the community is quite tight knit and quite strong.
Yes.
So they know that wait
Yes.
lists are very significant, and so there is a more community oriented push towards ensuring there is a level playing field when it comes to access to information and education, at least. So, yeah, like
Very important.
Driving people towards free or cheap resource, or not necessarily cheap, affordable resources that can assist people while they know that they're not going to get therapy in the next 2 years. Why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they? And that's probably a great takeaway and lesson for if you have incredible relationships with some referrers that refer to you by name, which every allied health business has. Every practitioner does, or they wouldn't be working. Give them some resources that they can send to people to make them look even smarter about the topic that you are smart about.
Yeah.
And I just thought about that. Like, we could do that with our endocrinologists that refer to us well. When they refer to us for, a client with osteoporosis, we could absolutely have some resources or some things that's like, hey, go to Rebound because they run a really good exercise program for osteoporosis, but also watch this video. Or here's some more resources that Rebound has made that I think could be really helpful for you because you have a lot of questions about exercise and osteoporosis.
Yeah. And I don't have 45 minutes to sit here and talk you through all of them
because I'm a specialist.
Because I'm a specialist.
Yeah,
and
I'm very special.
I'm so special. And it's, anyway. So, like, do that. And that is a great
that.
value add.
We've done it.
Already done.
We've already diversified our income, just like that. You hear that, everyone?
Yep.
Start diversifying.
Diversify.
But not exercise osteoporosis because I bagged that.
We've trademarked that.
Dibs.
Trademarked.
No EPs. No. Every EP make that and send those resources to your
Archie.
good network, to me, and I will rebrand them. And I'll come to me and then I'll plug it on the podcast and I'll take 50% of your earnings.
Correct.
No.
He's got to wait.
I'm just kidding.
He's got to wait.
But I swear to God, if you do it, I'm going to sue you. Because I just can't with other... No, that's good. Everyone do it, please.
But do that.
Great idea.
Do that.
Do that.
It'll take you a couple of hours of your time.
Yeah. So back on that first reflection about the OT business in Toowoomba who couldn't hire. And I acknowledge that I didn't realize that was as much of an issue for a lot of allied health businesses as what it is. And I know we've talked to EPs and other clinic owners on our podcast in the past who have had that problem where they're like, we're trying to hire, but we can't hire. And I was like, okay, so what are we doing that makes hiring for us not hard? Because we're very lucky that we have a good track record over the last kind of 5 years.
That's not luck.
Sorry. I was just trying to not...
I know.
Yeah, okay. All right. We have a good... I feel gross saying this. We have a good track record.
We have worked very hard.
We've worked very hard to be good at hiring good people over the last, 5 years. And I was trying to think after hearing all of these stories from people who find it hard to hire people. It's like, well, what are we doing that are good lessons for people to make it easier to hire? And when I look at the team, student program is probably number one there. Is we like to hire new grads, but we particularly like to hire our own new grads who are students with us. And one of the reasons that students often like to come back here to work after they're a student here is because we run a really good student program that we put a lot of time, a lot of effort into, and a lot of paid hours into as well. Mm-hmm. That like it is a part that you have deemed very valuable for practitioners to put hours of their week into to run practicals and run sessions and run inductions and stuff for students and build resources and have a pre-induction and have a student hub on the website that they can log into and do all this stuff so they get benefit from being here as a student. It's not just experience and hours face-to-face. It's like, no, we are trying to build better practitioners. That matters because ideally, by the end of a placement, the student should want a job with you.
Absolutely.
And if you and the only reason why they shouldn't is if you really don't align with what they're passionate about, which is also totally fine, and your clinic doesn't offer that, or you're out of area for them. But even then, like the student should want to either work with you or work at a clinic like yours.
I agree. And so, like, we kind of sit in at an interesting kind of timestamp here now, where, like, what you said is very true. Like, we've spent time, like, we've devoted people's working hours, the time that they could be seeing clients, to building this thing, because there are two forever issues in any kind of business, right? You need to attract people into the business, then you'd hire people to do the work. That never changes. And so we have spent a lot of time focusing on ensuring that there are pathways for people coming into the business. And I agree, like students is a huge opportunity for us or for any business to be able to, and it might just be that, you know, if you are in a rural area, the traditional way of doing it might be tough and it might be harder, but just because it's harder doesn't mean it's not worth doing. And you see it when people do it really well, because they are renowned, because they grow, because people want to work for them.
Yeah.
And similarly for us now, looking forward, like we have got a working group that Sam is now leading, and we are trying to create, well, she is trying to create an opportunity for students all across Australia to get access to what you just said. Our student program, all the learnings and the trainings and the resources that we have spent years curating. We want everybody to be able to access that. We want people to like graduate from our student program so that when they put on their CV, when they're applying for the first job, that they have done our student program, that fucking means something.
Yeah.
And that helps everyone. And yes, we're charging a small fee for that, but it is more just to make people commit to something rather than
to show value.
Anything. Like, we're not trying to make money out of it, or maybe we will in the future, and that will go to the people that have created it.
Yeah.
But it's amazing when you spend the time and the effort building these things, you have all these resources, and then it's a great opportunity to go, well, okay, we've got all these things. What are we going to do with them now? And that, for us, means creating more opportunities for other people in the team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing that we've put a lot of time into is our team, getting along with each other without being able to put it another way, is team time is very important. And the way that our team gets along with each other, spends time together in the office, in the gym, outside of work, is very important because people can feel that when they come into the space. And when students or interviewees or whoever comes into your space, they should feel like the team likes each other. And if they don't, they can feel it. Anyone can feel that. It's like when you walk into a party and you go, oh, this isn't on. There's no life here. It's like, you got to be able to feel the life of the clinic or the life of the party.
100% agree.
Which is like
100% agree.
A very easy thing for humans to feel.
Yes.
So you've got to be able to portray that as well.
Yeah.
We tried for a bit to do, we go back and forth. We made like our own EP social media, and we made a conscious choice when we made it, or when we made the Rebound Health EP one, which is not very active at the moment because it's not a huge focus for us because recruitment's fine. Is kind of why we stopped that. We made a conscious effort of the aim of the Instagram was not for the general public and to educate them about exercise physiology. That was not what the aim of the Instagram was for. The aim of the Instagram was for us to have fun and just to make cool, fun videos that were just us kind of taking the piss. Sometimes doing actual exercise, but more just like day in the life of EP stuff or just doing random things in the gym that we thought was funny. And we were just trying to post as many reels as we could. And we did that for about maybe 6 to 9 months or so. And we put a shit ton of content up there and a lot of people watched it. And I think it gave a very good reflection of like who the team is and what our vibe was, which I think was very helpful. So then, you know, when people who are likely in their early to mid 20s go to apply for a job or look at a business, they're probably going to go on your social media and go on your website, would be the first 2 steps. And if you think that, you know, people applying for jobs wouldn't go on Instagram, then you're trying to hire the wrong generation.
Oh, I love that. That is excellent.
Well,
that is
it's
so
like-
true.
Like
So true.
everyone in their 20s has Instagram or like would at least know to look at a business's Instagram. And to say that it doesn't matter is being blind because people care. People care like what someone's Instagram looks like. And it doesn't have to be like swish and like perfectly edited and perfect sound quality and that kind of shit. But they are going to watch the videos you have up there and form an opinion. And if the things you have pinned up there are you doing a boring talk about diabetes or a boring like
Generic like quote from
Or-
some influencer.
yeah,
from,
or a boring like influencer or Maya Angelou quote. Sorry, I know you love Maya Angelou.
Don't
quotes.
take that away
Sorry.
from me.
No, sorry. I'm sure she's great.
She's a good mate.
She's
Yeah,
good.
She's good.
Yeah, okay, she's good. I wasn't fully sure she was a she. I don't know much Maya Angelou, but she good.
Yeah. I don't know what
Or
she did.
like here's what exercise physiology is, or
Here's the difference between exercise physiology and a physio.
exercise is medicine.
Fuck off. No, it's not.
We prescribe exercise as medicine.
I hate you.
To
I
treat
hate you.
chronic conditions and medical conditions and disabilities. We are accredited
I
under
went to
the Exercise
university.
and Sports Science Association Australia. If this is what your Instagram is and you're struggling to hire, then take note. Like I'm not saying that that's a bad Instagram and like that that is a problem, but if you are struggling to attract people to work for you, maybe that's something to know.
You have to show the personality.
Exactly.
That every business, every clinic, doesn't matter how big or small, will have a personality, and you need to
Yeah.
showcase that.
Yeah.
You need to showcase the way that you are with clients, the what you do on the weekend.
Yeah.
If you were to like create a profile of your clinic, you need to showcase that to people because that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
When they're comparing the other businesses that they could apply to in that area.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah. And look, there's many ways you can go about it. I'm not claiming to be like a social media expert at all, but I Instagram stalk a lot of businesses and a lot of like pages and a lot of EPs and health professionals. And I can tell very quickly whether I like the page or not. And it's not based off like one thing because I like a lot of different pages for a lot of different reasons. So I'm not saying that like there's only one right way to do it. There's lots of right ways to do it, but I think it's very important to be genuine and to show personality. And whether you are being genuine, showing personality in the way that you educate the public on your Instagram, great, awesome. Or if you're being genuine and showing personality in the way that you just take the piss and have fun, great. Or whatever you do on there, just do it with personality and be genuine and be humans about it. That's important. That's very, very important.
Yep.
And I think that's only going to become more true with AI doing more social media for people, because anyone's going to be able to blast out a 5-slide educational piece on any condition with some cool graphics and stuff. That's no longer going to be the thing that separates Instagram and social media accounts, because I can click a button and with a...
I mean, you can do it all in Canva now, right? Canva's got AI. You can just say, do the thing.
Yeah, use my brand colors, make a 5-panel Instagram post on exercise and osteoporosis. Go.
Done.
Generated and post to Instagram. Done. Okay. And make sure you take the fucking Z's out of words from the American spelling. Andrew.
I feel targeted.
Well, see, I can tell AI when people have like done AI stuff immediately, because people never change the spelling from American English to Australian English. So as soon as I see optimized or personalized or centralized, I'm like, yeah, AI, not reading.
Yeah. It's very true.
And it immediately makes me not read it, because like, I know that information is not actually
authentic.
No one's written it, which means I can go and find it myself. So yeah, I'm not saying it's bad information, but I'm just saying like I don't need to read it, because
No, I agree.
I know that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I feel attacked, but I agree.
Well, there you go. Well, I think that's less of an attack on you and more of an attack on like everyone who just shit posts LinkedIn AI stuff, because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Like,
and you can tell because you look at the engagement metrics on it, and nobody fucking gives a shit, right? You're putting it out there for the sake of putting it out there, rather than trying to improve it. You're creating that because you've got a thing in your calendar that says I should create social media content now, and it's like, well, get onto ChatGPT. What give me some ideas for what I can create for social media. Oh, there's this thing, 5 steps for fucking whatever.
Yeah,
and then into ChatGPT, into Canva, onto the thing. It's like, and then you wonder why you've got 1 like and 0 comments. It's because nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
It's boring and it's generic and it's been written by a computer.
Exactly. Yeah. And the computers will love it.
And I say this, right? I say this
doing it, having
done it.
Yeah.
And I've learned. I continue to learn, but I still learn.
Great.
And it's like I would rather spend the time and do 1 post every few weeks that is fucking good, rather than 1 post every day that is just generic shit.
Yeah. / something that shows personality and is genuine. And especially now that you have a public presence because you're on a podcast, that as soon as you get AI to write something that maybe doesn't swear or doesn't talk like you, I can tell. Like when you write something, not that you do it anymore, but like when something was posted, I could tell immediately if you'd written that or if you had not written it. Mainly because like if you'd written it, it would have been short and sweet, and it would have been to the point, and it may have had the word shit in it. Whereas like ChatGPT would never do that for you. The ChatGPT stuff is always long-winded on social media because they go, wow, look at all this content. I'm going to fucking smash this. And they go, God, it looks so smart.
Yeah.
And it's just stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. In saying this, I love AI. And I think it's very, very useful. I just don't know if
you're
social media, like writing your social media content is the best use of it.
Yeah, and to swing the conversation all the way back around. Like if you know you're trying to, like, whatever your intention is for using social media, shortcuts don't work. It just never works, and it needs to be authentic. Whether you're doing that to attract new clients into the clinic, or whether you're doing it to recruit more people, or to start a student program, or whatever. If it's computer generated, people can smell it.
Having done now, 5+ years of Google ads and digital marketing, and seeing trends of what's worked and what hasn't worked, for you specifically with Rebound, what's worked the best and what really hasn't worked?
Oh, I wasn't expecting that question.
Well, it's just relevant.
Google Ads works.
Okay.
Google Ads works.
And so when you say Google Ads works, what works about them, and like what are they doing? What are they working on?
Google Ads works because it's a pull type marketing, right? So a person has a problem and they are searching for a solution. Physio near me, or exercise physiologist near me. They have a problem and they are looking for a solution. You are then just putting your message in front of those people. That works. Now, Google Ads has become more expensive because more people are drawn to it because it has worked, which means that the cost of acquisition of a new client has increased over time. But there are like KPIs that you would set to determine whether or not a Google Ads campaign is working.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to bore people with.
No. You don't have to
numbers
go
on
into
that,
the numbers.
but Google Ads works, and it's working more and more for EP because there is a much greater community understanding or recognition of what an EP actually does. So people are searching for it, whether they're searching for it off their own bat or whether they're searching for it because they went to a GP and they said you should go and see an exercise physiologist or whatever. More people are searching for it. We know that because when you look at organic search keywords, it is continuing, like it's a graph that is going up and to the right.
Wonderful.
Consistently. So Google Ads needs to be part of a marketing strategy because people are searching for an EP in your local area. Facebook ads is different. Facebook and Instagram, I'll group them together. Facebook, you're probably going an older demographic. Instagram, you're probably going a younger demographic. But it is pushing your message in front of people. They are not looking, they are not scrolling on Instagram looking for a physio.
Yeah. Not scrolling going, I'm injured, help me.
Correct. It just so happens that while they are scrolling and they're sitting there all hunched over with their shitty fucking posture, whatever you say about posture, fuck you, and they're sitting there with their posture and their neck is hurting and they're like, and they see a picture of a physio and they're like, oh yeah, I could do with a physio. It has to, that the intent is like, I need to capture people's attention very quickly. I need to direct them towards a page where they can convert on my landing on my website. That is the intention of a website. It is a place to convert people so that they can book in. So because your content, now there is also a difference between organic and paid content. Organic content, like you said before, is the stuff that goes on Reels and stuff like that. And it is educational primarily.
But not location based. So
based. So for us, because we are hyper locationized.
Yeah.
If somebody in America looks at my social, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Right. That might give my ego a nice little pat on the shoulder, but that person is not going to turn into a client.
Yeah. If you get 20,000 views, but it's not in Northern Beaches, it's not helpful.
And this is my argument against ESSA being a strong social media presence to try and attract clients into my business because they are nationwide. ESSA doesn't ESSA doesn't care too much about my specific business. They're about raising the awareness of the industry.
Yeah.
So they are not going to push people towards me. They're going to push people towards everybody, which means they're going to push people towards nobody. So I don't want them doing the work for me. Yeah, I want to do my own. I want to have my own brand voice.
Yeah.
I want to have my own personality.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that we are attracting the right sort of clients that are right for our clinic. So Instagram and Facebook works, but it takes a lot more effort to refine the stages of the journey that you want people to go on.
Yeah.
You need to capture their attention very quickly. You need to retarget them with some sort of incentive for them to book right now.
Yeah.
You need to have a landing page that converts them, and you need to have an online booking process that makes it very seamless for them. It works, but it takes a lot more work for it to happen.
Sure.
You can apply that same model to like TikTok, to YouTube, to any other social media platform. The process is the same. You're probably just going towards a different audience with each of those things. So it works.
Yeah, okay. All right. Good. So it works. You would prioritize Google Ads as your number one, and then below that would be your social media marketing kind of stuff after that. your organic stuff should not be necessarily targeted towards people coming to see you near you, but then your ads on those services potentially.
The only caveat with that is if you have spent a lot of time building an organic following,
Then
right?
potentially, yeah.
If you've got 20,000 people that follow your page, you could put out calls to action that encourage people, if you have something that we can help with, book in to see.
Yeah.
But if you don't bother.
/ like you're actually in that person's area. Like if you have that kind of following in your area, or you are a business that can work online, great. If you're not, it's very difficult.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I see so many like new like clinics and allied health practitioners put up posts and things when they just start on Instagram that their first post is like, "Hi, my name's blah and I do this and I work here. And my special interest is this." And then their second post is, "I'm running a special on initials." To your 30 followers who are all your family and friends. It's like, and the only other people who follow you are allied health business owners.
I think
allied health like people, professionals, because they're the people that you follow, so they follow you back. So who the fuck are you talking to?
Correct. I think this is Gary V. I'm going to butcher this, but like, you have not earned the right to ask people to take action if you haven't like built that following, built the trust in yourself and your page.
Yeah.
Like, keep your offer until you've got consistent high level engagement on your page. Because to be fair, you're pissing into the wind. You can
exactly.
you can say that stuff, but nothing is going to happen.
Yeah. You just don't bother. I'd say just don't bother. It's almost like walking into a shopping mall and just throwing your business cards off a balcony and go, "Come see me."
Look, I did marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Fuck's that?
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that.
No.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. So you did I'm going to put you on the spot here. So...
No.
Oh, no, sorry. I won't do that. There were a bunch of different talks at this conference. And they did a cool thing where there were some keynote ones. Well, this is not a special thing about this conference. But there were some longer keynote ones that went for like 20 minutes to an hour. And then they did these panels where they had 4 different people come up and they talked for 5 to 10 minutes. And it was around a specific topic generally, but they all took it their own way. There are a bunch of really, really interesting ones. I want to ask you, of all of those like smaller ones or those talks that you heard, were there any that like really made you go, "Oh, that's awesome. I want to implement or do something around that"?
Yeah, there's a great physio who I'm very fortunate to know quite well, called Tony Beecroft, who runs Melbourne Sports Physio. Great physio clinic down in Melbourne. And he was talking about transparency, specifically around when it's time to ask for a pay rise, right? How to navigate the conversation with team members, particularly when, this is going to sound a bit harsh, but particularly when they're not going to get it, right? So somebody's asked for a pay rise, but when we've looked at their numbers, it's not justified for them right now.
Which, to be fair, in Tony's business, which is a very large physio business with a lot of clinics, and he has a lot of physios who've been there for a lot longer. So there's a lot of people in that like 5 to 20 year experience with physio, where like you don't just make a jump every year.
Correct. Yep.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, and with that sort of physio, which is perhaps something that the more recent graduates don't quite necessarily comprehend. that your base salary is not going to keep going up and up forever. Like that's not the way that this thing works. The way that you generate more money is you become an excellent practitioner and you start earning commission.
It's commission
on the work that you do. In the first 5 years, sure, you're probably more reliant on your base salary because you're learning how to be the thing. But after a while, once you build your reputation, once you can justify to yourself and to your clients and to your boss that, I should be charged out at a higher rate because I'm doing something different, then your ability to generate revenue, therefore the ability to get more into your back pocket, increases. And so you're right. Like for his business, a lot of those people have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So this is not, their base is probably not what they're taking
probably not
home. It's
changing.
their commission.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what I really liked was the transparency around, because we do a base plus commission model here, but because we have so many people in their first 5 years, it kind of touch and go sometimes. Like I got it last month, and then I didn't get it this month, and then I got it next month, and I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Just because we're still building our caseloads and all that sort of stuff. But that conversation is a very numbers focused conversation. And I think that's something that I know I have been quite avoidant of over the past few years, where people's increases in their salary have been very determined. Oh, you've been here for another year, therefore your pay goes up, whatever percent. But I think we will have to adapt to the fact that as people stay for longer and longer, that remuneration structure is going to change. So that we can not have people just reliant on their base, but we have more ability to get more. Like when you go through a very busy period, you are rewarded for that.
Well, the more they put in, the more they get out. That kind of thing, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I really like that from him. And the way that he described it around being clear on what you've earned, not just like what went into your bank account, but the fact that you have super and you have this and you have that and you've got bonuses and all this sort of stuff. And present it in a way that helps people understand if you do want to move to the next stage, well, this is what that looks like. And I know Lauren came back here and immediately just went through and created our own version of that, which we'll be rolling out from new financial year. But that involves a lot more transparency on where we are right now and where we need to get to be able to move. It means that we need to give the team transparency on where they are right now and what they need to do to be able to move, and break away from very specific time-stamped conversations about progression.
Yeah.
Which is, again, something that we will roll out over the next few months. That was certainly the biggest takeaway, and that was a 7-minute presentation that Tony gave.
Which is so interesting, right? Because a business like ours that you built, where you do so many things incredibly well, and that's something that still makes you really nervous, is having that conversation. And you still feel like, I hate to have this conversation with people around salary and money and that kind of stuff. But this is just such a nice framework to go, well, just have it. And just have it clearly and in a very direct way, and just put it all out there. It's like, what a great idea.
Yeah.
And you almost need someone to say, it's like, we're doing this and this works. For you to go, oh, okay, I didn't know.
It's okay.
It's okay. And that can work.
Yeah.
But that's what's so great about these things is you don't know that there are people doing this. And everything feels like, well, we can't do that because that would be weird. And then people go, it's not weird.
It's okay.
It's actually great.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's really nice.
How about you? What were your main takeaways?
One of the really good things for me, and I assume that this is something that is done a lot more in the business world, not allied health, just business in general.
Business.
In business world, is a traffic light report. So basically going through all of the different areas of your business or your team, if it is related to your team or that kind of thing, and then giving yourself a little self-reflection basically around, are you a green light in terms of we do this really well? Are we a yellow light? Or are we a red light? And the yellow light things being is like, yeah, we do them, but we're okay at it. And the red light's like, oh, we definitely don't do this well. This is something that we can improve on. And going through all of the different things. So it was very, very helpful because it's not something that I'd ever really gone through. And straight away you could reflect on a bunch of different topics, but the way they made it quite specific about all the different areas was very, very nice. The way they broke it down, it's like, okay, we're going to give you all these different topics and give you some information on them. And then, like, here are some learning portal resources for the things if you did give yourself like a yellow or a red on, and go and watch these and then learn how to do them better. For example, he broke them down into categories, and the first one being like value drivers, like, well, how good are we at new client attraction? How good are we at forecasting growth? Do we have a clear growth strategy? How are our partnerships and collaborations? It's like, okay, so we're yellow, green, red for all of those things. And then some of the other areas that were interesting for me, it's like with our existing client base, like, do we have a long-standing client base? Do we have like referral programs? So do we acknowledge clients for referring friends and stuff to us? It's like, how do we maintain relationships with our existing clients and our existing networks? It's like, oh, interesting. And then, you know, operational efficiency. It's like, how good are we at automating processes? So, you know, do we have technology and automation to streamline repetitive tasks and improve efficiency? Are we continually trying to improve like these different things? Are we tracking performance metrics for areas of improvement and how efficiently we're operating? All this kind of stuff. I was like, wow, I've never really broken things down to these specific areas before and then reflected on them. I was like, that was really helpful because immediately it just identifies things that you can work on. Just immediately. I was like, okay, thank you. You've just given me 12 months worth of stuff that I can work on.
Yes.
With my team. It's like, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say no more. And a lot of the time, they're not things that you don't know how to do. You just go, oh yeah, that hasn't been a focus for us because we've been focusing on this other stuff, which now we're really good at, and that should be sustainable without having to think about it so much. So yes, this would be a big change and a big improvement for us. If I start doing this thing better with the team, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
I really like the process, and this is going to sound super nerdy, but like it's very difficult to continue to grow and scale a business if you don't have the processes that like sitting behind it. And something as simple as this, spending 30 seconds and going, oh shit, like I reckon we can do that better. And then going like, oh, clinic over there. How do you do this? And what system do you use to do this thing? It's like, oh, okay, will that work for us? Maybe not, but I've learned what works for them. And yeah, very simple process, but very impactful in terms of what you can take away.
Yeah. One of the things that we have made a better process around since then, maybe slightly before then, maybe after then, is our like induction process, which is now like this huge spreadsheet that's broken down into weeks, and it has all the different topics, and they've all got videos attached to them from people who's relevant to talk about them, and then other resources if necessary. It tells you how long the video is. You can mark if you're currently watching it or you've finished it, and then you can take notes on it as well, so then we can talk about it when we catch up for our weekly induction.
Yeah.
Way better than me sitting there and spending an hour with someone. And, you know, not that I think that my hour is better spent, but I think the person learning its hour is better spent than me explaining how DVA works to them. It's like, what a waste of both of our time. When, they're going to have white space. Watch this video and skim through it. Go watch it on 2 times speed. And then all the stuff that you didn't absorb, just ask me the question and I'll explain it to you.
Yeah.
Rather than me going from scratch, it's like, right, so DVA stands for...
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Too much.
100%.
And do that for everything. And obviously that is a lot of time, a lot of effort to put that together. But if one of the areas that is currently doesn't have a process and is quite slow for you is the induction process, then this is what you could do.
And I think it's a bit of a wow moment for new team members to come in and see that. And it's like, sitting there on your first day, nervous and worried about like, do I need to remember everything? And they're presented with like literally how the whole thing works on a spreadsheet from top to bottom as it relates to their role. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. It's all here.
Yeah.
I just need to... I'll go through it, and then if I need to come back to stuff at a later time, it's still there.
It's not going anywhere.
You can go and look at it again.
It's all there. Andrew, before we wrap up, for people who are going to conferences and they're nervous because going to conferences involves mingling and schmoozing.
Schmoozing. Always schmoozing.
As a veteran conferencer now, I imagine that you are, and an introvert, as a well-known public introvert.
I'm glad that it's my public image. I enjoy that.
I spent most of my weekend just filming you on a CB podcast, just extroverting and draining your battery, and it was hilarious and great.
Yeah.
What are your tips for the people out there who are also nervous about talking to people they don't know? Because extroverts won't have a problem with it, but maybe they don't know what to ask. What are some tips for people who are nervous going to conferences and talking to people they don't know?
There is always people that will know more about you about something, right? And if I can go into a conference and be like, I don't know what's going on here, but I reckon there are some people here that have got perspectives that I haven't been exposed to or that I can learn from. It just creates a more open mind, which is more receptive to be able to digest the information. The clinic mastery one's a little bit different because, as part of the clinic mastery team, you're expected to be there and do the schmoozing. But that doesn't mean that like, and we were encouraged, like we had a bit of a team huddle the day before and we're talking about like, how can we keep because one of our values at Clinic Mastery is keep the energy.
Okay.
Right. So how can you keep the energy when you are an introvert and being socially heightened for 48 hours is going to put you in a coma. It's like, well, you take moments, right?
Yeah.
So I was one of the people that helped people greet, like when people turned up to the conference, I was shaking the hand and hello, nice to meet you, and doing the small talk.
I saw you hugging.
There was some hugging.
I didn't get a hug. I got a rude finger. That's all right.
Yeah, but
whatever.
But then once that all happened, I'm like, I'm just going to go and sit and have a coffee by myself and just calm. And so, like for an introvert, it's like, I just need to find moments where I can just recharge my battery a little bit before dinner. So I'm just going to go back to the room. I'm going to have a shower. I'm going to just sit, listen to some music and chill out for 15 minutes before I go back.
Nice.
And so knowing that about myself means that in situations where I know I want to go out and speak to people, but sometimes it just feels really fucking draining, I just need to put these little moments in where I can just recharge a little bit.
Nice.
And yes, I feel exhausted after it, but to come back and have like fucking a workbook full of things that I need to do, which the majority of which came from conversations from people, not just what was delivered on stage. Yeah. It's worth it.
Yeah.
And for me, that, not necessarily for me, but for other people as well, it might be like the next day, like after I get home from the conference, I'm going to schedule nothing and I'm going to sit and like just decompress after that. because there is so much value that you can get in these things, and it's going to drain you. But if you've got some recovery time afterwards, then by the time you get back to work on Monday, it's back to normal.
Absolutely. Nice. The thing I would add to that in terms of if you're nervous talking to people is when you are at a conference and someone comes up to you and says, "Hi, my name's Archie." You immediately go, "Oh, great. Someone's come to talk to me. That means I don't have to go and talk up to someone else." You and I like talking to people, but I immediately feel good when someone approaches me to come talk to me. So when you are like, "Oh God, I really want to go and talk to that person," or "Oh, I think I should go and approach that group of people or talk to that person over there," they're probably going to be relieved when you go and introduce yourself and start talking and ask them questions. Correct. The other person wants to talk to you. No one gets a beer at the end of a day of a conference at the bar that's at the conference center if they don't want to talk to people. They will fuck off if they don't want to talk to people.
Correct.
So if they're there and they're getting a beer, you could say hi and introduce yourself, and you will immediately have many things to talk about because you're at a conference.
You are. And that was exactly the thing that I would say, because I am very much not that person.
Very easy.
But it's like, oh, what was the key takeaway for you today? Like, what really resonated with you? And there it is.
Done.
There's the
There you
conversation
go.
started.
And half an hour later,
You've had 6 beers.
exactly. Yeah. And you go in the MCG and watch some footy.
It's work a bit. It's
That's
fine.
great. Yeah. That was great. Unbelievable. All tax deductible, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very
How good.
Alrighty. Well, we've been talking for an hour, so we should probably wrap it up then.
Okie dokie.
How's your beer?
Really good.
I love
It
this
got
beer.
better. I feel like it got better.
Algorithm Brewery. You guys are fucking amazing.
Well done.
Well done to you. Well done to us
We're back.
for getting back on the horse. All right. See you later.
Goodbye.